Hello, AP Chemistry, and welcome to your syllabus. Not exactly riveting, but it is important. So please make sure that you read the document in its entirety, because you will sign your name saying that yes, you have read it in its entirety, and that you understand what's in it, and that you will abide by what's in it. I'm just going to highlight a couple of things. Just to point them out to you. Okay, so anyway, AP Chemistry, haiku page, help times. Please note, you'll probably have to come see me at some point, so take note of these. ALAPs except B days, first and F1 are my frees, after school most days, and O periods also, which I forgot to write. You guys should all have your materials already. The book, doesn't matter if it's the AP version, you just need the right book. This one's important, right? What I strongly recommend is that you have a giant binder, like whatever is the giant size you can buy at the store. I think it's like 3 inches. That's what you should have. Because the point is, chemistry is cumulative, right? Which means that when we get to chapter 5, you'll need what's in 4, you'll need what's in 3, right? When we get to chapter 20, you'll need what's in all the previous chapters. And so it'll be really helpful for you if you have a binder that's actually divided into respective chapters where you can actually flip back through and use it like a giant reference manual. So that's what I strongly recommend. And all these other things should be obvious. Oh, AP Chem review book, you do need that. We won't use it much first semester, but some people do find that it is really helpful in terms of preparing for the chapter tests, right? So some people might actually buy 2 different brands of AP Chemistry review books. One to help them review for tests, right? And another brand that they'll use second semester when you're actually preparing for the AP exam. So that's kind of up to you, just something to think about, okay? Obviously, you'll need your safety equipment like closed-toed shoes, and I will provide safety goggles, apron, and gloves as needed. If you are so inclined, you are welcome to have your own and keep them in your locker. All right, why would we study AP Chemistry? That seems obvious. AP Chemistry is different from honors in that, 1, we meet 5 periods a week. That 5th period is not optional. That 5th period is absolutely required. Yours will be ALAP or lunch on B day, depending on if you are an F2 or F3. It takes priority over everything because it's a class. It's an academic class. So if you have something going on, you need to go tell your sponsor that you cannot be there because you have AP Chemistry. Okay? All right. Obviously, it's harder, more important, right? There are some sections where you can't use a calculator. And you would be surprised how much basic math, especially in the land of multiplication and division, people forget when you stop having to do it on a regular basis. So if need be, review those. And there is homework every day, and we'll talk a little bit about that more later. The other big difference is that we have a lot to cover, okay? This is a first-year general chemistry course for the most part. So in order to buy more time in class, where we can do things like discussions, demonstrations, labs, and actual practice where you may have questions about what you're doing, we buy time by putting the introductory material in haiku. It means that I will provide your lectures via haiku. That's where you'll take notes, and you'll bring those notes to class so that we can actually start using that material in class. Okay? Topics that we'll cover. Tests are structured like the AP exam, which means that you'll have a short multiple choice section and a free response section on every single test. All right, learning chemistry requires diligence. And I've said it a million times, but chemistry is cumulative. That's why you have to be diligent. And it's really important that we are learning versus cramming or memorizing. Now, here is the trick, is that some of you guys are so very smart and you have an innately strong memory, and you may have reached this point in your academic career and you may not really know the difference between learning versus cramming or memorizing, which is why AP Chemistry tends to be like a really big deal for a lot of people, right? A lot of people that are very, very smart suddenly find themselves in a situation where the study skills that they've used before don't really work the same way, right? And that's because we're reaching a point now where cramming doesn't get it done, okay? So if you're struggling with how come you don't feel like you're able to get to the level that you think you should be at, right? Come see me, right? Sooner than later, and we can talk about your study strategies and how you're approaching it. But for most people, it comes down to, 1, this daily chemistry and not just putting it all off for the weekend, because our brains actually learn better by doing a little bit at a time, sleeping on it so that way it sort of gets cemented, right? And then again the next day, reviewing a little bit, adding some new stuff, right? And that's how our brains really learn and actually keep material. So things to think about. All right, study groups, also really, really helpful in AP Chemistry. Think about that too, and come see me if you need some help finding one. Your grades, tests, homework, labs, much like last year, labs here, right? Homeworks include your web assign and your extra practice packets, which are just giant free response packets. Homework and labs are where you sort of fine tune your skills. That's where you learn how to solve different types of problems. That's where you learn how to apply basic information to lots of different situations so that you will be prepared for the test. And there are test bonuses after each chapter in AP Chemistry. Now, your semester grade is the same as last year, 40% per quarter and 20% for the exam, except for second semester where you'll take the AP exam in lieu of a semester exam. Bonus extra credit and web assign will never be accepted late. Other things, 10% per day until you reach a 0. Attendance, super duper important, which I feel like you know by now. So when you return to school, see me immediately. Ideally, you'll be already caught up when you come back to school, except for what you literally miss in class. But, come see me when you get back. Few specific situations, if you miss the day of a test or a quiz, you will take it the day you return unless you want a late penalty. If you're absent for more than 3 days due to an excused absence, like an athletic trip or some school-sponsored trip, you need to see me before you go so we can work out a schedule. If you miss more than 3 days because you were sick, you need to see me the day you get back so that way we can talk about a makeup schedule for your work. And if you miss a lab or a demonstration, those are really the toughest days, right? Because we're not going to redo a lab or demonstration because you missed that day, right? So you need to make sure you go see usually multiple people, get all their notes, write them down, right? Compare and contrast, and then see what questions you have, and then come see me so that you and I can actually discuss the lab or the demonstration and make sure that you are seeing everything that you should have seen. Does that make sense? All right. Please don't ask me for individual extra credit at the end of a marking period. It's not going to happen. There are opportunities all year. You just need to pay attention, and you really need to take advantage of them if you're one of those people that's really particular about what your grade looks like. Okay? Bring your own device, obviously. Have your laptop, and have a charger if you're not going to charge it before you come to school. Honorable expectations, things that are potentially honor code violations. So, 1, tests should be independent with no outside resources. I feel like you know that. Web assigns are independent. That's where you basically learn all the introductory skills for each chapter, right? How to solve problems, how to recognize situations, how to use terminology. You may use your materials like books, notes, and our haiku, and you may ask me questions, right? All the more reason to make sure you're working daily, all right? Multiple choice practices are bonus activities that you may complete in small groups, right? EP packets, those are those free response packets, may be completed in small groups. Note that for all of those, pre-labs and post-labs may be worked on with your group members. So whoever's in your lab group for that lab, that's who you may discuss the lab with, okay? Note that for all of these that you can work in small groups, if there seems to be a violation, if it seems that there are people that aren't actually contributing and are instead just sort of taking information and not putting anything back to the group, if that happens consistently, we will just stop the group work option and everyone will work independently, in addition to the honor code violations, okay? So please don't be that class, all right? Okay, so that sums up our syllabus. Thank you for listening. Be good, and I'll see you soon. Bye.